After that, I thought, you know what, I can go two ways here. I can either be like the normal statistic that a lot of people that go through these things end up being, or I can completely change it all for myself.
Yeah.
And basically just turn my whole life around. So that's kind of what I decided to do.
Hi everyone, it's Rachel here at Walk the Talk. I hope you're well today. Welcome to the Walk the Talk podcast, and today I have a new episode of our Inspiring Stories series to share with you. So in today's episode I have a lovely lass called Kirsty Lamb here to share her story with you. Kirsty runs two businesses. One is a lifestyle blog called lifestyleandlemonade.com. And the other is her Lifestyle Academy, which is due to launch in January, and that is her Happy Life Academy. And I'd love for you to just get rid of all your distractions, knuckle down and listen to this amazing interview, because I can tell you right now that this one is really going to inspire you to take action in your life wherever you are. So without further ado and without revealing too much about the interview, I'd like to get straight in about it. So enjoy, and I'll speak to you at the end. So welcome Kirsty to the Walk the Talk podcast. Kirsty is from a company called Lifestyle and Lemonade, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask Kirsty to explain to you what that means and tell us a little bit about what exactly it is that you do, Kirsty. So welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me along.
Thank you for coming on.
My name is Kirsty, and I have my blog, which, like Rachel just said, is called Lifestyle and Lemonade. And this blog is basically about, it all kind of came from the phrase, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So many people ask me, it's such a random name, where did it come from? But that was kind of where it all evolved from. So way back in the beginning, I kind of had like a couple of things going on in my career, like business-wise and stuff that I had done before. And I kind of felt like I was always doing something. Fair enough, it was always self-employed. I was always working for myself, but I was never quite kind of hitting the nail on the head for what I wanted to do. So it kind of gradually evolved from when I was a wedding planner. I did have a wedding blog which got a lot of traction and it was doing really well, but I kind of fell out of love with weddings. So once I had stopped doing all my wedding planning, I was still blogging about weddings. I thought, what the hell am I doing? This doesn't even make any sense anymore. So it gradually evolved into basically me as a person. I'm a mum, I've got two little girls. So I speak a lot about them and what we get up to, and a lot of kind of lifestyle stuff and all that as well. And I thought, I need a name. I need something that kind of talks about me and everything else. So that's kind of where the Lifestyle and Lemonade kind of came into it. So kind of me and everything else that's going on. And since then, I've launched another business, which I think we'll speak about at some point, which is her Happy Life Academy as well, which is kind of building on the experiences that I've had throughout my life and how I can then offer advice and inspiration and motivation to women across the world as well. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it sounds like you're from Scotland.
I am.
Yay! Yeah. Whereabouts in Scotland are you from?
From Perth.
From Perth. Oh, cool. Not too far away from where I'm from as well. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit more about your other business, the academy that you're launching in January. So tell me a bit about that, and then we can sort of backtrack and you can tell me a little bit about what it was that made you want to set something like that up.
Perfect. Okay, so my academy is kind of, through like different things that I experienced, like when I was growing up, I went through a few really difficult times, and a few people that knew about these things always said to me, like, how can you go through something yet still be stupidly positive all the time? They're like, you're weird, there's something going on, like this isn't normal. But for me, even from a young age, I was constantly working on myself. Positive mindset is such a massive part of my life. It always has been. And it wasn't until people started saying to me and coming to me with their issues and stuff and saying, like, I need some positivity from someplace. You've got such a positive presence on social media, and it wasn't until kind of all that was going on that I thought, maybe that's what's making me a little bit different. I kind of always felt I was a little bit different from other people, but I couldn't put a finger on why. And I thought, I don't know if that's just a weird thought or I don't know. So eventually when people were saying to me, you're always mega, mega positive, and I basically need some of that positivity, what can you do to help me? So I was kind of playing about with an idea about 2.5 years ago about launching a kind of like a self-development project, if you like, which is then developed into this 6-month academy. So as part of Her Happy Life Academy, I've got a couple of short courses and like all these little bits and pieces that I do, but the main thing is the 6-month academy, which launches in January. So I'm super excited about that. The thing that gave me the big kind of nudge to go for it is about, how many months ago would it have been now? Maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. My husband and I went through a really difficult time, and we actually temporarily separated for the entire summer. So I was at home with my 2 little girls who are 6 and 3, or 5 and 3 at the time. And I mean, it was horrible. It was a really rough time, to be honest. Can I swear in this?
Yeah, you can.
Just checking, because some people are like, don't swear.
No, you can swear.
So I was just going to say it was a really shitty time. It was horrible, and I felt awful. And it wasn't until I kind of took a moment, like I went away to stay at a little kind of spa resort thing, like me and the girls, and like my 2 little girls. It wasn't until I was away that I kind of thought, right, I need to kind of gain a bit of clarity in myself and my life and what I'm doing. So I need to figure out a way that I can kind of follow what I want to do and finally do what I want to do, which is where I kind of gave myself the kick up the butt that I needed to launch the academy, and kind of take some of my own advice on board as well. I was that often giving it out to other people but ignoring it for myself, which didn't make much sense. So
no, I think sometimes that's a bit of a coaching thing. Like I found that myself when I first started coaching about more than 10 years ago now, but it still rears its head every now and again. It's so simple and straightforward most of the time to give out the advice. You know exactly what you should be doing, but actually applying it to yourself is sometimes the most difficult part, because if you're the same as me, I find it really easy to give other people advice and to coach other people, but then when it comes down to looking after yourself, sometimes you forget that you're important as well.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah, I feel that. So tell me a bit more about, I know we spoke about your background a few weeks ago when we first caught up on our first Skype call. It must be a few weeks ago now, when I was looking for people to come on to the podcast to talk about inspiring stories and sort of overcoming difficult periods in people's lives in order to actually get to where you are now, sort of to give inspiration to other people that are perhaps out there listening to this podcast. And I know for a fact that there are lots of people out there listening to this podcast that are perhaps going through a really, like you said, a really shit time, or maybe they're not even going through a shit time, but they're just not happy with where they are in life at the moment, and sort of to give people a bit of positive inspiration so that they know that no matter how difficult the times that they are going through or have gone through in their life, that they don't need to take that to the grave with them, that they can actually actually go for what they want. So I know you've had a bit of a dark background and a bit of a dark past, and you're okay to talk about that if you don't mind.
That's fine.
So you can talk to us a bit about sort of what your background was, and I suppose how it drove you to do what you're doing now.
Perfect. Okay, so I would say myself there's 3 key points that I feel that I have been through that I feel nobody should ever have to go through. So the first one, and I can't really speak too much about this legally, but it's fine. It's fine. I can say a little bit. So when I was younger, I was sexually abused for around about 5 years. So when I say younger, I would have been about 5. So this went on, like I said, for probably about 4 or 5 years. It's difficult to kind of put a time on it. I never spoke out about that until I think I was 17. And I literally told one person. So that is just like, yeah, something that I had to work a lot on myself to kind of get through that. And that's where the kind of mindset stuff came to me from a young age. So I don't know how I kind of was aware of that kind of coping mechanism at that age, but I just seemed to be. So after that, the next thing I would say, but I was 10 years old, and I was staying at that point, my parents had separated, which to a lot of people that will be like a major thing, but for me, my parents were happier apart, and that's what was important to me.
Yeah.
Like I would rather have had two parents happier apart, and we can still do family things every now and again and everybody's fine. I'd much rather have had that than to stay in a house where there's arguing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the next thing that was a difficult thing for me is my dad passed away from a motorbike accident when I was 10. So my parents had been apart, I think, for, I want to say like 2 years or something at that point. So we were staying with, there's me and my mum and my mum's partner, and my brother was living with my dad at the time. So my brother was 2 years older than me. So basically we got a visit in the middle of the night. I remember my bedroom door was a glass door, and I heard like the knock at the door, and I thought, what is this? It was like 10, 11 o'clock at night or something. And I just saw kind of shadows go past my door, and I thought, oh gosh, there's somebody in the house. Like, I could hear my mum awake. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I noticed that it was my brother going past the door, and I'm like, what is, like, has he done something he shouldn't have? And is this the police? Like, oh my God, you're in trouble. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, like, he's so stupid. And then my mum's partner actually came through and said to me, look, I have something to tell you. Your dad's been in an accident. And I just sat up and I'm like, oh, is he okay? Like, when can I see him? Like, is he fine? And he's like, no, actually, he died. So it's so strange because, like, for me now, like, I've dealt with that and I feel fine. But as you kind of talk about it, obviously it kind of brings up.
Yeah, of course it does.
And stuff like that. But generally, like I'm fine with it. Like, it was 20 years ago now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
it's one of these things that, like, you never get over.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's always part of your story. It's definitely part of what's made me into me.
Oh, I completely empathise with you there, because my dad died in 2009 really suddenly as well. So like I can totally empathise with you when you say that it sort of shaped part of your story, and gives you, it almost gives you a little bit more motivation than you would have. Sounds silly saying it like that, but
I can totally connect with that, because for me it was kind of a thing, like, I don't know, it was almost just like a building block to kind of get me to where I am now. And the thing that makes it difficult now is obviously watching my two little girls, what they're like with my husband, like their dad. That's what kind of then brings it all back up for me. But generally, like, I wouldn't say I'm thankful for it, but it's like it has got me to where I am now. So I can kind of take the positive out of a really crap situation. Which is sometimes a really difficult thing to do, but I'm one of these people, like, I can find a positive in literally everything.
I can tell that just from talking to you.
I suppose that's a good thing. So after that, I mean, I wouldn't say at the time, I wouldn't say that affected me in a massive way. The biggest change was, I didn't get to see my dad again, for obvious reasons. But my brother came to live with us. So that was the kind of biggest change. Still to this day, I don't know why, like, as a mum, that, like I said, over the summer, I went through a separation from my husband. I had both my girls staying with me for those couple of months over the summer. I don't know why, and I've never asked why, but my mum separated me and my brother when she separated from my dad. So the biggest adjustment at the time was my brother coming back to stay with us, because he had never stayed with us the whole time that my parents were separated.
Right.
So he was back with us. He hadn't met my mum's partner, so they didn't get off to a good start at all. So it was like a big adjusted period for everybody, but we finally got there. And then as a teenager, I would say, to be honest, I was quite good. My mum might say different, but I feel that I was quite a decent teenager. My mum always said to me, like, don't smoke and don't take drugs. So I never smoked, I never took drugs. So at the end of the day, I did what she said.
yeah, that's the bottom line, isn't it?
Me for anything. The one thing though, as a teenager, I was maybe a bit kind of like, I've been through a shit time, I'm quite a strong person and I'll kind of do what I want, as long as I don't smoke or take drugs, and I go home at the end of the night, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So when I was 15, I think, just before I turned 16, I started chatting with a guy that I kind of knew of. He was kind of like a friend of a friend. So we started texting, and he had said one night, do you want to meet up? And why don't I bring a friend and you bring a friend? And I'm like, okay, fine, that's fine. So at this point, I just turned 16. So we met up a few times, and I actually hit it off with his friend really well, and he actually hit it off with my friend really well. So it kind of worked out good.
Yeah.
So we were both 16. The guy that I knew better out of the two of them at the time was 17. And the guy that I ended up kind of seeing on and off, he was 19. And it was fine, like, at the time, like, the older guy was driving, the other guy just passed his test, so we used to kind of go out in the car every now and again and just kind of drive about and listen to music and just chill, and it was fine. Like, I never looked at it and thought that it was like a weird situation or anything. So they were also into their boxing. So as a 16-year-old, to be like my boyfriend, if you want to label it, he's 19, he's a boxer, he's been on TV, like, I felt quite cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the time, I mean, it was a good little talking point between like me and my friends, and it was just like, yeah, okay, so your boyfriend's like the same age as you and mine's is 19, and it was just kind of like almost just like a little bit of a boost for me. A bit of an ego boost, to be honest. So at one point I got a phone call from the guy that I was seeing saying, do you want to come over to the house to watch the boxing? So it was a Saturday afternoon, and I thought, well, I've got a couple of hours before I've got stuff that I have to be doing, so yeah, I'll go. And I said to him, like, I've only got a couple of hours, and he said, like, it's fine, I'll come and pick you up and I'll drop you off again after. So this was nothing kind of out of the ordinary. So yeah, he came to pick me up and took me to his house where we would quite often watch the boxing. And as we were on the way, he said that his friend, the other guy that was kind of part of our four, he was going to be there too. So it was fine. Just didn't, like, honestly didn't give it a second thought. Turned up at the house, it was fine. Put the TV on, sorted out the DVD thing for the boxing. It was a recording of their boxing.
Right.
So had put that up on the TV. And then as that started to play, you know, things took a bit of a kind of weird change. The atmosphere totally changed. They weren't kind of laughing and joking anymore. And within that time, I was sexually assaulted by these two boys, which was horrific. So straight away, as soon as I could, I got myself out of the room and I actually locked myself in the bathroom. And I just burst into tears. I thought, you know, this is, like, what the hell is going on?
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so I was in the bathroom in this house with these two boys that were in the bedroom with the boxing on. You know, I don't know what to do. And straight away I thought, right, I have to phone someone. But my phone was in the room. Shit, like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I actually just don't know what to do. Like, this is awful. There was a huge mirror in the bathroom, and I could just see, like, my face, and I just thought, you know what, this is just, like, I feel disgusting. I feel horrible. Like, this is just awful. So I just remember, like, splashing water on my face, and I thought, right, I need to just get my stuff and get out. And all I could think about was, I mean, this must have been, say it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something at this point. All I could think about was my mum's going to be home in an hour, and I need to get home, I need to be fine.
Yeah.
Because through everything, I always thought, like everything with my dad and all that, I always thought, like, my mum's been through enough. I don't want to disappoint her. So I thought, right, I just need to get my stuff and get home. So I came out of the bathroom, I splashed water in my face, kind of, like, cooled myself down, chilled out a wee bit, went through to the bedroom, got my stuff. And just as I was putting, like, my hoodie and stuff on, they were just saying, like, you're fat, you're disgusting. And keep in mind, I was 16 years old. Like,
what the fuck?
I was slim. I was 16, do you know what I mean? They were just, it was absolutely awful. And it was a complete kind of twist. Like, I didn't expect it from these two boys. Like, we had got on for a long time. I've never had any weird vibes off them or anything. They were literally, like, two different people. And they just started, like, calling me all these names and stuff, and I just remember the older one saying to me, like, this happens all the time, this is what happens when you get involved with people that are on TV and stuff like that. And when he was saying that, I thought, like, you're no big shot, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you've done a couple of little things on TV, but you're not flipping like Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And I just remember him saying, like, so you can't tell anybody, because if you do, everyone's going to hate you. And he knew about my whole thing, like, you don't want to let your mum down. He's like, what would your mum think if she knew about this? And I just thought, you know what, like, fuck you, I just want to get my stuff, I just want to leave. So I got my stuff and I ran out the house, and I've never seen either of them to this day. So that was 14 years ago now. Never seen either of them, thankfully.
God's sake.
Yeah, because we do kind of, I don't know if they still live here now, but we certainly all used to live in the same town. So yeah, I've never seen either of them since. And I got into the town and I got a bus and I got back home. Thankfully, I was home before my mum. I got in and I got changed, and I just thought, right, I don't know what to do. I've got two choices. I can tell my mum, and she might be really disappointed, like, what are you doing? Why did you get yourself in that situation? Like, you really let me down, kind of thing. Which, looking back, she would never have said any of that. But at the time, you just kind of think, like, oh my God, I've done something really bad.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I can either do that or I can just shut up and just not say anything. So that's what I decided to do. And again, looking back, like, that shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't have kept my mouth shut, because that was putting other people in a difficult situation with these two boys. Like, they knew a lot of people. And for me, it was more like how I felt and how much I didn't want to draw attention to myself, and for people to, like, I thought people are going to make fun of me, people might not want to hang out with me anymore, and just the normal kind of thoughts of a teenager. And really, it was stupid. I mean, they should have been in a lot of trouble for that. And it's sad to say that to this day they've been let off with it, which is a huge regret of mine, to be honest. But I think it's only now that, like I said, that I've got kids of my own, that you kind of realise, you know, you need to speak up about stuff like this. Especially, there's so much stuff kind of going on in the media and all that just now about all this sexual abuse and sexual assault and stuff like that. I'd actually recorded a video on this exact story about these two boys just the other day. And it's just, I feel now that I'm fine talking about that, because I would rather, I think it's because I'm such an open person, like, I don't have a problem, like, sharing my, like, stories from my life and stuff, but I know that I can use my story to hopefully help other people, and for them to speak out about something that's happened to them, or to report somebody for something inappropriate or anything. So that's kind of what made me want to share that story so much. But because of, like, those three things, I would say it's definitely shaped me into who I am now. I am honestly, like, the most annoyingly positive person in the world. Like, my own husband hates me. First thing in the morning when I get up, he's like, your eyes have been open for like 3 seconds and you're smiling already. That's not normal. I think it's just, after all that, it's made me realise, you know, I went through all that, and, like, I am still standing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm fine. Like, I've got my health, I've got my kids, I've got my husband, my mum's still here. Like, I'm fine, I've got good stuff around me. I know what it is that I'm doing with my life. And after those 3 horrific things, I actually feel like I'm in such a good place now, but I would say it's only because those things have kind of happened, which probably sounds really messed up, but...
Not to me it doesn't, because my story is not similar by any means, but I've got a few things that have happened in the past that I would say have shaped me, and that's, and a lot of people look at me and actually say to me quite a lot, like, I can't believe you're still standing after everything that's happened to you, and you're similar in a similar way, basically, that you're not so much using your experience in order to sort of push you forward, I suppose, but it does turn you into a slightly different person, and when you go through difficult experiences, of course it's going to change you. But what's different about you, I think, and just from chatting to you and not knowing you as such, but what's different about you is that I think a lot of people would allow these kind of things to give them an excuse to not go after what they want, and they almost become a victim of these circumstances, and that's their identity, or that they don't know how to have any other sort of identity, really. And what's different about you is that you haven't allowed it, or you've decided that it won't shape who you are, and that's not your persona, that's not who you are, but it's just it's a part of you, rather than that is you, and that's what's different about you. So, and that's the sort of message I wanted to get across today, is to show other people that despite what you've been through, it doesn't need to define you as such.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always said, as I was growing up, if one person was to experience even one of the things that I had been through, they should have technically been a statistic. Like, they should have went down the route statistically of turning to alcohol or drugs or kind of any of those kind of set of things. So that's like if you go through like sexual abuse, or if you go through an assault, or if you lose a parent or anything like that. But to go through 3 of them, it's almost like I feel proud of myself, the fact that I've not ended up being a victim to that, because the way I see it is, where would I be if I let my past define my future? Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have a future. I don't feel, if I kind of let all that stuff get to me. And definitely with having my girls, it's really important to me to not let my past define their futures. Because if I kind of, it's kind of difficult to put into words, but if I was to let my, say losing my dad, for instance, if I was to let that and then this sexual assault really, really get to me and make me really depressed and dependent on alcohol and all these different things, that would be no life for my children either. Do you know what I mean? And my biggest thing is being able to say to these people that all this stuff happened with me in my past, like, that's done, I've dealt with that, the door's shut, it's not a part of my life now, and it's certainly not going to be a part of my kids' life either.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So they don't have to, like, fair enough, yeah, they can grow up thinking, like, they can have, there's nothing stopping them basically having their happiest life, whether it's me having difficulties in my childhood or not. Like, it doesn't change things for them. If anything, it just makes it better.
Yeah. So was there... yeah, definitely. So what do you think is different, or was different about you, was there a moment where you actually sat down and made the decision, right, this is not going to define me? Or was there a process, or was it just, have you got here and you look back and you think, okay, that's just a part of me and that's how I dealt with it? Or was there a sit down moment that you can think of?
I wouldn't have said there was a huge sit down moment. For me, my kind of moment of clarity was the start of the summer, when I'd went away to that little retreat with my girls. So we were in this big country house. There was me and the girls. My mum and her partner were there, but purely for childcare, so I could escape to the gym. There was a big pool, there was a gym, but it was literally in the middle of no place in Scotland. So we went, And that was at a time where I needed clarity. I needed to just work everything out. I thought, you know what, I've had all these crap situations. I've got a husband who, like, we're just butting heads right now. We're not on the same page. We're flipping different books.
Yeah.
And I thought, I need to go and just really knuckle down and just figure it out. So when I went away, I was sitting one night and I was just writing down every single last thing in my mind. Like, I do it a lot. I call it a brain dump, where you just sit and write and write and write and write and write. And the thing is, I never look back at it ever, because I thought, right, it's out of my head, like, it's gone. But this one time I wrote pages upon pages upon pages. It's quite late at night and my mum's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, nothing, I'm just working. And it wasn't until I got to the end of the, like, 4 or 5 pages that I'd written and I started to read back through it, I thought, you know what, like, there's some substance here. Like, there's something here that, like, it's almost like I enjoyed telling my story in a way that it can help other people. Because for me, there's no excuse to not live your best life. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can go through these rubbish circumstances, but that doesn't have to define your future. You don't have to have, like, a really depressing lifestyle and just basically not a life of fulfillment. You don't have to have that. That's a choice. And I thought, I can keep sitting here and I can keep thinking, like, throw my own pity party for one and being like, I feel so sorry for myself, or I could just really, really, really make it work. So there was that, but there was also, when I was, let me get this right, I think 22, I had a conversation with my mum's partner. Now, we had always got on. He was a businessman as well. And we'd always got on kind of like a business sense. Like, we would talk business stuff all the time. So since I left school at 17, I've never had my own boss. I've always done my own thing. So that was kind of like a kind of bonding thing between us. We would always chat about, like, business stuff and making money and being successful and travelling and all this sort of thing. So I went to him and said, well, to him and my mum, just not long after Craig and I had got married. I think we'd been married about 6 months. And I went and said, congratulations, you're going to be grandparents. And my mum was like, she cried. Like, she cried. I didn't know if it was because I just literally handed her a pregnancy test. I don't know if she was, like, weirded out by that. It wasn't until afterwards I thought maybe that was a bit of a disgusting way to do it. But so yeah, she cried. She was over the moon. And her partner was kind of like, yeah, it's exciting. And it wasn't until a few weeks after that he said that he was a little bit disappointed because he thought that I would go down the business route. And he's like, you know, I thought you were actually going to make something of yourself. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like,
what?
Why can't I still do that? Just because I'm growing a human. Like, that's quite a good achievement, surely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even
growing
have to
a human, I like that.
Just do it. So yeah, I kind of thought, like, who are you to say to me that I can't be successful just because I'm having a child? So it wasn't until he said that, and he turned around and he said to me, and I'll never ever forget it, he's like, look, you can be 2 things in life if you're female. He's like, you can be successful or you can be a mum. You can never do both.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, you fucking lunatic. Like, that's what? Just, that's bizarre to me. Do you know what I mean? That has honestly been the biggest driving force for me, because I thought, if I can overcome all these things before, I can use all that as motivation. I can use his comment as the real kick up the butt that I needed. And that little comment from him really came back to me that night I was sitting at that little retreat in the summer, because he was there. I'd always kind of, like, put up with him for my mum's sake. And I kind of just kept thinking, you know, I'm sitting here looking at you, like, sitting watching TV, looking really grumpy and just in a crap mood, and I'm sitting hatching this master plan over here. My kids asleep downstairs, like, we'll do it all. Do you know what I mean? And it really gave me the nudge of, you know, you've got a story to tell. You are positive despite what's happened before. I just loved kind of positive mindset and personal development and all that sort of thing. And I thought, you know, I've helped so many friends through things in the past. There's no reason why I should only be helping people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's people all over the world that can use a few words of motivation every now and again. And it wasn't until I was sitting down kind of writing out everything that I'm passionate about, talking about and thinking about, that I thought, you know what, that's actually a really good structure for a course.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of thought, you know what, why don't I thought it's a lot of content, about 6 main kind of subjects in total. And I thought, why don't I just do it as either 6 individual 4-week courses on these 6 different subjects, or put it together into this one big academy type model, if you like, so that people basically start on day 1 of the first month and they go through this 6-month transformation. So it could be people that have either had a difficult time and they want to kind of work through that and come out the other side as the best version of themselves, or people that are just like, I felt lost as a mum, for instance, after I had my second little girl. I thought surely there's more than just going to all these like baby groups and stuff and talking about like how much your kid doesn't sleep and how much they shit all day.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There's more to life than this.
I don't have kids, but I do have a 2-year-old niece, so I do sort of understand what it's like to have a young child around. But a lot of the women that I work with, in fact, the vast majority of women that I work with are mums, and you know, that is one of the biggest things that they come to me with. They say, I don't know who I am anymore. I feel like it's like, I can't remember the last time. This is really a really good example. One of my clients said to me when I first met her, I can't remember the last time somebody addressed me by my first name.
Yeah.
Like it's always
I get that.
Yeah, it's always either a really stupid, like a nickname, or mum,
yeah,
exactly. Gran, mum, aunt, nickname. And like, I can't remember the last time somebody called me by my first name, and like I've almost forgotten what it's like to be me. I feel like I'm always chasing around after everybody else all the time, and so, like, if you can catch that early enough, you can do something about it. But sometimes, you know, I've got women coming to me in their 50s and 60s that are looking back and thinking, oh my God, the last 3 decades have just passed. My children have now grown up, and I look back and I think, I don't know who I am, because I spent the last 30 years being a mum.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, not to say that you, like you say, you can, it's like is it your stepdad or your mum's partner? Do you call him stepdad?
My mum's partner,
Your mum's partner said you can either be a mum or you can be successful. You can't be both. Yeah. Like, yes, you can.
Honestly, even just hearing it gives me goosebumps. It makes me so bloody annoyed. Like,
oh, I bet it does.
Both. And the thing you were saying about like just being addressed as mum and everything, the one thing that came to me when I was at that little retreat in the summer, I was going through my phone, I was going to text a couple of like my friends. The majority of my friends from now I've actually met through my kids, so it's been like at school or gymnastics or nursery or whatever. But I was going through my phone and it's like the kid's name and then like so-and-so's mum and Katie's mum and Alvin's mum, Abigail's mum. I'm like, these are people.
Yeah.
Like actually real people. And then I thought, you know what, in their phone books on their phone, I'm Casey's mum or I'm Kaylin's mum, like I'm Kirsty, like I'm me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That was really important to me. That's when I kind of thought like I need to kind of push myself, like I need to get to know my kids' friends' parents more so that I can address them on first name basis at least.
Yeah.
I mean, and kind of pushing myself to be more of what I wanted to be rather than just be a mum. And I don't say that in like a bad way, because being a mum is honestly the most amazing thing I've literally ever done in my life. But for me, there's more than just being called mum. I will say it's my favourite thing to be called.
Yeah. Oh.
But it's nice to be known as my own person as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not just the person that does the school run and the nursery run and sits twiddling her thumbs at gymnastics classes and stuff. Like, there's a lot more substance in between, I hope.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to ask you, just to finish up, I'm going to ask you one question. It's quite a, you can answer it however you like. So imagine there's somebody sitting here listening to this podcast and has just listened to everything that you say and is maybe sitting there thinking, oh my God, everything you've just said there has hit me maybe they are, 10 years behind where you are at the moment, what one piece of advice, this is really hard, I know, would you give to that person right now?
Oh gosh.
I know, I'm putting you on the spot here.
I know, one piece of advice, honestly, I can talk the back legs off a donkey. I would definitely say to them to take a moment to figure out exactly what they want to do and who they actually are, and to live their true life. So with things like businesses and stuff like that I've done before, I've always felt like I was guided to, like, for instance, I'd done a little spell within network marketing, and I kind of felt like I was guided into that. It wasn't really what I wanted to do. I kind of fell into it and stumbled through it for a couple of years, and I was kind of living a half-hearted life, and I would definitely say to somebody, have a bit of patience, sit down, take a moment and figure out exactly who you are, who you want to be, and what you want to do, and make a plan for it. Like, where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And wherever you want to be in 5 years, what can you do in the next 12 months that's going to get you a little step closer to that? So all this kind of goal setting stuff and that, I talk a lot about that in the academy. It's a massive, massive thing for me. I love setting goals. I've got my goal board up there, actually.
I can see it. I've been trying. I've been like intermittently going, I don't know.
Yes, I'm a big believer in having a vision board and really knowing the kind of path that you want to go through your life. The biggest mistake that I made is for long enough, I would say for at least a good 10 years, I just kept saying, I want to do this, I'm going to do that, and all these things, but I was just talking about it. I wasn't actually taking any steps to get there. So I definitely say, once you've sat down, had a bit of patience, thought about where you want to be, who you want to be, and who you are, and the steps that you can take to get there, it's not just to talk about it, it's to actually make the moves and actually go through the process of getting your life and making your life the way that you want it to be. It doesn't have to be determined by your past or your present. All you're really looking at is what you want from life and what you can do to get you to where you want to be. I mean, I was fed up kind of living my life through what other people thought was right for me, or through not wanting to disappoint my mum, or trying to keep my mum's partner happy. And the whole time I felt like, I don't give a fuck if he's not happy or not. Like, I don't care.
I'm so glad you got to that point.
Yeah. So it's more about my life and where I want to go and who I'm taking with me, which is obviously my husband, my kids, and my mum. Everything, especially my girls, everything's for them. But if I hadn't have had that moment during the summer where I kind of sat down and took a real look at myself and really gave myself a reality check, like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? Like, one thing I definitely learned is we're not guaranteed tomorrow, so why waste time?
And can I just say that was just this summer that you're talking about, 2017, passed. So that is how far you have come in such a short space of time, because summer is not that long ago.
No, it was the start of no, it wasn't actually. It was the end of June, because we went away for our wedding anniversary to Newcastle, and we had a real shit time. Like, happy wedding anniversary, let's get a divorce.
Oh god.
But yeah, we didn't get divorced, but we had a good few months away from each other, and I feel like a new person. Like, I feel like me. I feel like Kirsty. I don't just feel like the girl's mum or Craig's wife.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like me. And there's literally, like, I just feel like there's no stopping me now. Like, I get up in the morning and I'm literally so excited to work. Which
Whoa.
it's just mental. And, like, people say to me, like, you work all the time, but it doesn't feel like work.
No, I know.
When you love it that much, like, you'll know this as well. Like, when you love something that much, it doesn't feel like work at all.
It doesn't.
The fact that I can do something I love, I can be based at home with my kids. Thankfully, they're not here today, but generally it's great to have them about. I've got total time freedom, so we can travel wherever we want. We've got massive travel plans over the next 5 years or so with the kids as well. I really want them to see the world and to experience all of that with Craig and I. So a lot of holidays that people would just do, just the parents, we're just taking the kids along as well. So it will be a riot, and it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world, but we're able to do that. You know, we're able to live the life that we want to live, and definitely the life that I want to live, because I'm not letting anybody else define that but me and my work ethic. So yeah, got big plans, but
Brilliant.
no doubt that it's all going to fall in place.
Brilliant, awesome. Just before we go, where can people go to find out about what you do and about the academy that's launching in January? Because obviously there are lots of people listening to this that will more than likely fall into the category of the type of person that you would like to work with. So
perfect. So you can find out about the academy at www.herhappylifeacademy.com. There's a little bit there you can put in your email address and get added to the mailing list. So that's where I send out all these nice freebies. Like there's a gratitude planner that's just been emailed out to everybody, and all these nice little things. But that's also through the mailing list. That's also where I'll be talking about the launch of the academy and everything. And people that sign up to the mailing list also get added into the Facebook community for Her Happy Life Academy as well. I jump in there every day and speak about different subjects and stuff. So
cool. Yes. And your academy, so you're launching in January, is that something that people can join in January, or can they join from January onwards? Can they join at any time, or are you running one group for 6 months and then another group? Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it in like a 6 month block.
Right, cool.
So I've got in front of me here like the 6 main subjects that kind of the academy covers are how to be positive and proud. So that's your first month of content. Your second month is all about goal setting for success. The third month, which is screw it, let's do it, and that's all happiness and motivation. We've got a month on balancing your life, and that's got my little invention called the Wheel of Real. We've also got a month all about nourish and flourish, so why kind of healthy eating is important, why exercise is good for you and stuff like that. And then also a whole month on productivity and time management as well. So the main reason that, because I did originally think about doing it so people could just kind of jump in whenever it suited them, but I really feel like the 6 subjects together are enough to kind of transform your mindset, and just so that people can kind of live life for women as well. This is all focused just for women, which has given me a bit of hate from some guys, but I don't really care.
I only work with women as well in my business.
Better way. So yeah, it's basically just to show women that they can live life as the best version of themselves, and there's nothing that's going to stop them. So that's why it's important to do the full 6 months, rather than just kind of bits and pieces here and there.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Kirsty, for your time.
You're more than
I'm sure this won't be the last time we have a chat.
No doubt, I've got no doubt whatsoever.
Hi guys, it's me again, Rachel. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much to Kirsty for coming on to the show and being so brave to share her story. I hope it has inspired you guys to take action in your own lives. So I'll be back again next week with another superb episode of the podcast. As always, I have some really, really exciting stuff lined up for the podcast over the next few weeks and months. Super duper excited. I am preparing at the moment to move to Australia. I leave in 1 week and 3 days, so I'm super busy at the moment getting ready for that. However, fear not, the podcast will continue as normal on a Friday for you guys, so enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you may be up to. You can connect with me, of course, at walkthetalkfitness.co.uk. The new website will be up in January, but for now you can find out all the details you need to on there. And if you're not a member of my free Facebook community yet, then I would urge you to do that. You can find out all about that on my Facebook page, and that is super duper simple. Just go to facebook.com/Walk the Talk Fitness, or just search for Walk the Talk Nutrition, Weight Loss and Lifestyle on Facebook, and you'll come across us there. Loads of cool juicy stuff there. And also, if you don't follow me on Instagram yet, please do so at Walk the Talk UK. I think that is all the plugs I needed to do today. Of course, please leave some feedback on the podcast if you get a chance on iTunes. It would be great to have a 5-star review on there. interact with me on social media. I love to meet new people and chat away, so feel free to do that. I will see you next week. Take care. Have a good weekend.